Monday, April the 10th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today afternoon update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, government authorities here are out to get those employers who continue to sexually harass workers on the job. Minister of Labour Dr. Estebar Suku says too many bosses are threatening their employees who refuse to give in to their advances. Addressing another facts conference of her ruling Democratic Labour Party at the George Lamming Primary School last night, Suku promised to have sexual harassment legislation in place before the next January elections, constitutionally due next year, is called.
There are too many people in this country, workers especially, women especially, but not just women. A lot of workers in this country who are afraid to go to work because they are harassed on the job. All right? You may know some. Women, men too, young boys too, young girls too, who go to work and they are afraid to go to work because they're being harassed by the boss. The boss is telling them, I need you to do so and so for me, and if you can't do such and such, well, I ain't sure that you can get that day off you wanted next week, or I ain't sure about that promotion that you were supposed to get, and all of these kinds of things, and they still happen in the 21st century. They've been happening forever. They've been happening from that's been happening from plantation days. When Master say, lie down, you lie down. All right? But it still happens today in the workplace. And we have to ensure that it cannot happen. That at least in our workplaces, our workers are protected. And this legislation is going to be with us very shortly.
At that same conference, Minister of Social Care Steve Blackett launched a furious attack on the media, describing it as another tier of the opposition Barbados Labour Party.
Barbados Today, lovely paper, lovely paper. I call it the nighttime nation. They're finding themselves into every constituency that is represented by a Democratic Labour Party member. They can't find the constituencies yet that are represented by Barbados Labour Party. Picking all kind of people. Stewart gone, Kelman gone, Lowe gone. That is their mantra now. Everybody gone, as far as they're concerned, in the Democratic Labour Party. But we don't only have to put up with the Barbados Labour Party in Parliament and outside the Parliament, but there's another tier of opposition in this country called the media. We love you all. We love you all, but you got to call a spade a spade. And we have been struggling over the last, since we came to office in 2008. From the time we walked in the doors of the government headquarters in Bay Street, we've been having to contend with the majority of the media. The majority of the media. Moderators every day, especially on the Voice of Barbados. Part-time moderators and full-time politicians.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Opposition BLP, George Payne, took a turn in Minister of Housing and Lands and MP for St. Lucie, Dennis Kelman, for the level of his stewardship in that constituency. Speaking to party faithful at Crab Hill, St. Lucie, during another on-the-road outreach at the weekend, Payne, who was accompanied by Opposition leader Mia Mortley and candidate for St. Lucie, Peter Phillips, said Kelman had failed his constituents.
One would have thought that when Mr. Kelman became a Minister of Housing, that he would have been able at least to rectify the problems being faced by the people in rural Barbados, particularly in St. Lucie, but this has not been done. And if you look, you focus on the problem pertaining to the tenants here in St. Lucie who have been affected, or rather who have benefited from the Tenantry Freehold Purchase Act. Mr. Kelman, as Minister of Housing, has not been able to alleviate the problem faced by those tenants in getting their tenantry lots. And
candidate Peter Phillips accused Kelman of neglect, suggesting that he was more about himself than the people who elected him.
It is a crying shame as you hear a minister paying attention, or you see a minister paying attention more so to his personal business rather than to the business of the people that elected him to serve them. And I want to assure the people of St. Lucie, I want to assure all of you that I am here, and I am here once given the opportunity, I will do the very best that I can the very best that I can, along with the assistance coming from my party, of course, to do what is right for you, the people of St. Lucie.
In other news now, police are probing a stabbing that occurred in the area of Browns Beach yesterday afternoon. It resulted in 23-year-old snow cone vendor Shamar Maynard sustaining a stab wound to his upper back and a laceration to his hand. Police say Maynard was plying his trade when he was approached by a group of men. A dispute ensued, resulting in Maynard being stabbed. He was treated at hospital and discharged. Meanwhile, police are denying social media reports of a fatal accident this morning on Maxwell Coast Road, Christchurch. Gruesome photos posted revealed a bloodied man behind the wheels of his vehicle, which had overturned with his head slumped backwards. However, investigations by Barbados Today revealed that the 83-year-old man shown in the photos was only slightly injured and was treated in hospital. His name had not been released up to news time.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody ain't want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Police in Trinidad have seized a number of shotguns, 9 rounds of ammunition, bulletproof vests, and a camouflage kit during a raid at a private residence. One person has also been arrested. And on the international scene, the United States says it will hold to account any government that commits atrocities against innocent people. This from a tough-talking Secretary of State Rex Tillerson today, as key U.S. allies met to work out a common stance on Syria. Tillerson spoke at an Italian war memorial before a meeting of foreign ministers from the G7 industrialized nations, which was dominated by the diplomatic fallout from the unexpected U.S. missile strike on a Syrian airbase last week.
Well, it wasn't so long ago that the Russian media, particularly the pro-Kremlin press, was so full of praise of Donald Trump. But that's all changed. Let me show you some of today's papers. Here we see Trump, here's the US strike on Syria, and here's the headline, Agressia, aggression, 7 reasons for alarm after the US strike on Syria. And those 7 reasons include this one, you can't believe what Trump says. Inside some more, Trump needs a victorious war. Trump pleased the hawks but betrayed the voters, the paper says. Trump doesn't care about facts and laws. Trump acts on a hunch, but not according to a strategy. And Trump's missile strikes left so-called Islamic State the winner. Let's move on to Norvegiet, a very creative front page. Here we see a missile launcher with a giant bottle of champagne instead of missiles, and the headline, "We believed in you, Comrade Donald, more than we believed in ourselves." Now, the champagne represents how Russians celebrated Donald Trump's victory in the election. The missile launcher, of course, the US airstrikes on Syria. And inside, the paper talks about how the Russian media are very quickly changing the way they portray Donald Trump.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.